Hello, I'm just going to show you quickly how to list an item on eBay. It's pretty simple. You just need to pay attention to a few of the areas, make sure you do it right, and that you're seen, your product is seen. So here I'm just going to, I've already have a product picked out, I've already cropped the pictures, and I already researched it, so I have some of the information, and I'm just going to copy paste it into here. Now this is going to give you suggestions of the areas that it can come up in, but I don't like to do that unless I see something perfect. It is a collectible, I wouldn't say it's historical memorabilia, maybe souvenirs and travel. It could be Canada, but it doesn't have to be. Let's see, either New York or Canada. I can pick one. I think I'm just going to go with New York, and that will automatically set my category for me. Otherwise, I could have just chosen the first option and it didn't have a category, and then what I would do is just go in to change category and figure out where I want this. This is what would pop up. I could do search categories or browse categories, and then maybe a whole different set would come up for me, and then I could choose what I want. But I'm pretty happy with this one, so I'll stay with that. Now up here, here's the title of the product. You notice we have 24 characters left, and what I've learned is that it's best to use every character you can use because it's like a search engine. When people type in certain words, that is going to bring them to you. So you want to kind of try to think of every kind of word somebody would use in a search for this type of thing. It's vintage. It's also antique. Let's see. I could put New York. I could put Canada. A flag, a pennant flag. Can't think what these are called. Let's see. I'll just leave it at that right now. Okay, but you want to do as much research as you can, and like I said, fill in those leftover 12 characters. Okay, so most important here is the title, the category. Don't really need to do a subtitle. I've never done that. Second category, you don't need to do that. Store categories, unless you're a store, I don't think there's an issue with that. Condition, it is used. I'm going to put in a little description of it so that they get a quick idea. It's in fair vintage condition. There is faded color on the front of the pennant, and that they can go to the pictures to see for more quality details. And then here it's very simple. Like I said, I recropped my pictures. I have them in a folder waiting for me, and that is right here. And so I'm just going to put these in list so they're easy to grab. You can do 12 pictures. I suggest use every single picture. And it doesn't look like it grabbed all of them, which I'm not sure which one it didn't, unless I'm missing one. Okay, never mind. What I usually do in that situation, because I do want to use all of them, is I'll just choose one of these. They're in order this way. The first one again for the last one. So that's the same as this one. So I'm good with those. That's fine. This is the first one I want to see, which would be this one for people to see. Okay, so this is, you don't need to worry about this box here. You can ignore that. And they recommend that I include a region of manufacture. I really don't know if it was made in Canada, so I'm not going to accept that. Handmade, no. You do not have to fill these out, by the way. You can leave them empty. It just does help with the search if you do fill them out. This is what is this? This is a pennant flag. So I will just copy paste that. And I'll put type there. Okay, and now, like I said, I have did my research already, so I have a lot of stuff pre-written for this. And I'll just copy paste it in here. And there it is. Okay, so let me get a better view of this. All right, so there's my title again. You don't need to put that, I just do. When you're looking in eBay, sometimes it's a little difficult to see where the information is. And this just makes it easier for people to see it. So advanced editing is going to open up some extra little things you can do in here. I accidentally just made that centered. I like it left justified. So that fixed that. Okay, and if you need to put bullet points, you can do that here also. Bold, italic, underlined. This lets you change the color of any of your font if you want to. Of course, the size and the font type. And I don't play with this stuff, and you can change something in HTML if you need to, if you know how to do that. But usually I don't need to because I have it already on a Word doc. So here's just some things that I like to say. Everybody's got their own little thing. It's pretty basic. And so format, they give you a choice of a fixed price or an auction style. I like the auction style. It goes for 7 days. And then just to go down here real quick, there's a little box that says automatically relist up to 8 times if it doesn't sell. No insertion or optional listing upgrade fees for each relist, which is great. That means it's going to run for 2 months for your one fee. So that is just wonderful. What is it? I think it's 35 cents or something to list it unless you're paying a monthly fee. And I pay a $5 monthly fee for 100 listings, free listings each month, which is definitely well worth it. So I always highly recommend that. And then if you do this down here, you're really getting a good deal. And you can just list. So I say go for it. Okay, now price on this. Did I have a suggested price? I didn't write it down. Normally I write down what the competition is doing on similar things like this. I had this on before and it didn't sell because it is so, you can tell the difference in the color. It's really faded. So I think I'm just going to put it on for $9.97, which it saves your different prices that you put in there. Now remember, you have fees that are coming out of this. So for $9.97, you've got your listing fee maybe, and you have your final fee. They take a percentage of that when you do sell something. And so you don't want to get really ever lower than $9.97. I got that for free, so it didn't cost me anything. But you want to try to make at least $5 to $10 on each item you sell. If you don't, you're really just wasting your time. I do also like to schedule my items in the evening. So this is Pacific Standard Time, and I'm going to put it, I think, 7 o'clock at night. It's in a few hours. I'm on the East Coast, and that's West Coast. So these things are important that you fill out right here. Now, best offer, I could do a best offer. By checking that, I can say I will take down to $7. And, if I click these, I could put 7, and then here I'd put $6.99, that it would decline it for me if it goes below that, so I don't need to deal with dealing with anyone. If I leave this blank, then if they do anything below $7, I have to respond to every single person, which gets really tedious. I don't recommend that. But this is such a low price, I'm not going to go any lower than $9.97. So I'm not going to make that available. You can also do a buy it now price, which I think, what did it say? Let's just do something and see what the little notice says. Okay, so they tell you it has to be 30% more, at least $12.96. and they could buy it now, so they don't have to wait the full 7 days of the auction, which is fine. But unless they give you a special deal where you get that to be able to do buy it now for free, they will probably charge you a small fee to do buy it now, like 25 cents or something. And I don't want to pay that every time it relists, because that's $2 for something I'm only selling for $10 in case it never sells in the 2 months. So I like to do as much as I can for free. So I'm just going to leave both of these alone and come down here. The quantity, it automatically puts that in there. If you have a whole bunch of things like 3 or 4 different banners, you could say selling it as a lot, and you would click that, and it just, it lets you explain a little bit more what the lot is. Private listing, I've never checked that. I suppose you could if you had something really special and people, didn't want anyone to know that they were buying it or whatever. This is self-explanatory. This is important to fill out, the PayPal, so that you can get your payment. Make sure that you are completely signed into PayPal. You know what your PayPal address is. You have your password to get into it. The worst thing you do is get your payments and not be able to get them out of there. It's really easy. Once you get paid, you can log into your PayPal, and then you can simply do a transfer into your bank, and it's free. So it's a very convenient way of taking payments. And then if you did a buy it now, you would want to click this, require immediate payment with buy it now. I've never even dealt with additional offline payment methods. I don't even know how that would work. And I like to do things easy, so I say stick to PayPal. And I don't work with sales tax, so I just do little things, so it's not a big deal. Return options. They've recently made me a pro seller, I think. And so I have to, in order to let people know that I am that, which really makes my stuff look better. Oh yeah, and I get a 10% discount on my final fees, which is also really nice. So I have to accept domestic returns. And if I choose 14, 30, or 60, sometimes it's only 30 or 60 day returns that they allow you. It depends on what kind of product you're selling. So as long as I accept one of those, I'm good to go. And it has to be by the seller, free returns. I just tell them they pay for it to send back to me, and then when I get it, I will refund them. And so that's how I do that. And so I don't worry about this. I don't sell internationally. I only sell within the United States. It's a little too complicated for me to try to do it other way, although I have heard somewhere on here that eBay has a really nice way of selling internationally to help you out. I just haven't really looked into it yet, but that is an option. And here's that place that I clicked before, so it will automatically relist for me and I don't have to worry about it. This lets you decide how you want to charge your shipping. This is important to get this right. So I like to do calculated always. Depending on if they're in the East Coast where I am, it's a lot cheaper than if it goes over to the West Coast. The price goes up considerably. So this is a small item. It's only a few ounces. So I'm going to make this a USPS first class package. And the reason I'm doing that is it costs approximately $3 with the eBay discount. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. And I just use one of those little teeny bubble mailer envelopes. You can get them at dollar store, 2 for $1. And on a situation like this, you could put free shipping and maybe add $3 to the cost of your item, but it's $10. And if I put free shipping on it right now, I'd only be making $6 minus all the fees, and that just wouldn't even be worth it to me. So I'm going to charge them for the shipping, but that'll come down here a little bit later. So, of course, I don't really want people coming here, and I use my P.O. box. I don't even use my real address for eBay so that no one knows where I live, because that just isn't something that I like. So I kind of suggest that if you're going to do eBay, to use a post office box or a mail center. And then the handling time for the pro seller, you have to have 1 business day, but they do give you options. And that means I used to have it 2 business days, and that just made me feel better that if I was going out or going to go have some fun or something, that I didn't have to get it out to them that day. But if it comes in one day, you don't have to send it to them till the next day. So that's kind of a nice cushion right there. And then you don't have to send it on the weekends at all, only Monday through Friday. So that's great. And then the handling costs, I just leave that at 0. I'm not going to charge anything for that. I eat the money on the bubble mailers. Since it's costing me 50 cents, I just don't even worry about that. I know that if people buy many different things, the shipping calculation can be in their favor. I just have such odd things that no one's ever bought more than one thing from me at a time, so I don't worry about that. Oh, and this is what I was talking about, the international shipping. They have a global shipping program that is helpful, and you can learn more about it clicking there. So here's the other place that's important that you fill it out correctly. Now, if I'm just doing the first class right here on standard services, and it's only going to be, say, 4 ounces. If it's, I should say, okay, under 4 ounces, it's about $3. When you start going up, the price starts going up. In an envelope, it can only be up to, I think, 15 ounces. So I'm just going to put that there. This needs to say package or thick envelope. I don't need to fill out this. The only time I would be required to fill out that is if I was picking like any of these, because these are higher weight. This is only, like I said, under 15 ounces, I think, under a pound anyways. And then, so if it goes up, it will require you to fill in the sizes and the weight. And so it's a really good idea to have boxes just laying around in your packing equipment and stuff. I don't even bother packing it, but I do throw it all in the box all together, and I weigh it just so I can get a basic idea. If it's something small like this, like, you kind of figure out after a while how much this is going to cost up to the 15 ounce part. But beyond that, it gets pretty expensive. And I'll explain that in a second. Now, this shows where I'm not going to send it. So you can click this, which you will need to. And I've just clicked everything. So it is only the United States. This is a little confusing, but these are just islands. So, North America. And I do send to P.O. Box, so I have no problem with that. Oh, this is what I meant. I don't send to islands like this. It just gets too complicated. So I'm just going to close that. I've already filled that out. And so every time I do a new listing, it remembers what I did last time, and so it saves these for me. This says where I am. And then this allows you to sell it faster by promoting your listing. And if you have like 6 of something, it'll let you do, like if you buy 1, you get this price. If you buy 2, you get it at a discounted price, and so on. But what I have, it won't let me do that because I did this as an auction. It has to be as a fixed price for both of these. So that's fine. And here you'll see in the fees, it's costing me nothing, because like I said, I pay $5 a month and I have 100 free listings. Plus, now and then they give me special deals. They'll say you have 3 days to list 100 free items, or you have all week to list 200 new items. And so with no listing fees. So that's really nice. So I think I filled it all out perfectly. I'm really happy with it. You can preview the item here. So I get a good look at it. This is the first thing everyone's going to see. This is what I've written. This is how it's going to look. Unfortunately, shipping doesn't come up when you preview. And you can't really look at pictures either when you preview. So, and then this comes out really weird also. It doesn't look like that when you actually do list it. So because I did put it on to list later in the evening, I'm just going to go ahead and list it right now because I can change it over and over until I'm happy with it, and I'll show you how to do that. So it gives you a chance to check it out, which I will. Now I can see that it's going to be $366. Okay, so it says what I wanted. I can look at the pictures. So I see that I like how he took the pictures. Oh, and I always use a stick in here for measuring so people can get an idea of how big an item is, because nobody can tell how big anything is in pictures unless you have something familiar next to it. Okay, so I'm happy with that. All right, and then those areas that I filled out earlier that it kind of had fields to fill in. This is the only few things that I did for that, and that's where it shows up in the item specifics. And it does talk about shipping and payments, but that's just generic. You don't have to worry about that. It just says what I already put in there, that I'm going to send it standard shipping and when they would get it. Okay, so here's the information that I had copy pasted earlier. So it looks exactly like it did when I put it in. You can see how it's nicer looking than it looks when you're just looking at it before you list it. So that's that, and it's done. So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to say I'm done now. And it's going to take me back to the other place that I was last time. And then I'm going to sell again. Oh, and there's one thing I wanted to show you, listing templates. This is something like if you have a lot of the same thing and you're just listing it over and over again, you don't want to really, like, this is for the He-Man toys I had. And so I created the template in here. I titled it that. And then if I want to change it, I go to Manage Templates and make any edits that I need to make in the future. But let's just pick the one that I already created. And you'll see that I pretty much filled it out. I had different series, so I would change that. I would change the date. I would change the name. But the rest I'd leave alone. I liked where it was in the categories, so I didn't have to fill that out again. It kept my condition description, so I didn't have to fill that out each time. And it kept this for me and this. And then I would just upload the pictures for this new item that I was putting up. It kept all my information that I already pre-filled in. I usually needed to change the year and maybe the size. And then I think I also put in the name somewhere. I don't remember what type it was, if it was a body or a body type. Oh, here, the character. Yeah, I would put the different type of character in there. It would come up in that special little area I showed you guys before. Specified specifics. And then here's something I had already copy pasted in, and that I would usually just have it again in a document with my pictures of that particular product, and I would either just copy paste this part and just replace it with my new information, and this I would leave all alone. It was just fine. I could use that for everything every time. This I did at a fixed price, although now I'm really much more interested in doing auction style, since it does it for free 8 times if I click that. And also the templates, you can change them like I just did. It's not stuck there permanently, but it's only going to change on this particular one unless you go in where I showed you before to edit that template, where it's manage template, I think it said. and that will change all of them. But this particular one, maybe I just wanted to change and have it different from the other ones. And so this is all pre-filled out. And before I used to have the buyer just pay for the shipping, but that's all changed since I became a pro seller. All the little action figures were never more than 4 ounces, so that was easy. And usually I sold them for so much that I did free shipping. And then you list it, and that's it. Voila. It's that simple.
I really do hope that this helped explain this a little bit better. And if I missed anything that's kind of confusing to you, just let me know in the comments below and I'll make another video for you. Thank you.